Okay, so in case of percentage, we have to focus on the questions which we usually come across. One would be the questions which are based on the basic concept of percentages, right? Which involved basic formulas, and on the other side, questions are based on wherein some value will be given to you. Let it be some population of town is given to you, and the breakup of the population is given to me in some percentages, right? So we are going to cover both the cases here. So the very basic question which we are usually asked in case of percentage is when we have to solve a percent of b. So in this case, the calculation is a upon 100 into b. So other calculation required is when we have to find what percent of a is b. So when we are going to compute that what percent of a is b, so in this case the required calculation will be b upon a into 100. Third calculation required will be when we are required to find a is what percent of b. So when we are required to find that a is what part of b, so it is going to be a upon b into 100. Fourth thing will be when we are given that a percent of a number is b, and then we are required to find the number. So it is going to be b upon a into 100. So guys, tell me, are these relations clear to each and every student? Good, good. If any student has any doubts in any of the relations, do let me know. Okay, good. So let's move ahead. So now, let's say if it is given to me that there is a number x which is increased by a percentage. So we can say that the resulting value is going to be x plus a percent of x. Good evening, Madhu. So if we decrease a value by a percent, resulting value will be x minus a percent of x. If we take x common out of these two, it can be further rewritten as 1 plus minus a percent into x. Now, whenever we come across an increase or decrease of some percentage in the value, we never write this step. We straightway jump onto this value, wherein the value in this bracket is called multiplying factor. So it helps us a lot in calculating values faster. So if I say like there is a number 120 which is increased by 20%. So straightway I will say that my resulting value is 1.2 times 120, which was my initial value, right? So in this case, in order to convert a value to multiplying factor, just convert the percentage increase or decrease to either decimal or p by q equivalent. So 20% can be written as 0.2 or it can be written as 1 by 5. So if there is increase, add 1 to it. If there is decrease, subtract the value out of 1. So as like I said, 20% increase, so 1 plus 0.2 results in 1.2, or you can also write 1 plus 1 by 5, which is going to be 6 by 5. I hope this part is clear to each and every student. Okay, good, good. Any doubt? Good. Okay, good, good, good. Let's move ahead. So the basic relation for percentage change is final minus initial upon initial into 100. So we also say that this percentage change is calculated as change upon original into 100. So change is basically difference between final and initial value, and original is going to be our initial value. So the very same relation can also be rewritten as final upon initial minus 1 into 100. Like if I separate both the values, so f upon I minus it is I upon I. So I upon I will be equivalent to 1. So please always keep in your mind that in order to make your calculation easier, so we also focus on using this relation wherein the ratio among final and initial value is there. Also, whenever we are required to compute percentage change, we are not always required the final absolute and initial absolute value. In any case, if you have the ratio among final and initial values, still you can compute the percentage change. Like if I say that the ratio between final and initial is 3 is to 2, right? So straightway I will like fix in the value here. So 3 by 2 minus 1 is 1 by 2, which is equivalent to an increase of 50% in the value. Or the very same thing can also be represented as that final value becomes 3 by 2 times initial value. Right, so either ways the representation is same. So in general, if I talk about if there is some number n, let me write x here, that would be better. Give me a sec. So let's say there is some number x initially which becomes n times of initial value, like in this case. So there is a value I which now is 3 by 2 times. So in this case, straightways we can say that the percentage change is going to be n minus 1 into 100%. Because now it's pretty clear, like if you put these two values as initial and final in this formula, x got cancelled out. So nx upon x minus 1 is equivalent to n minus 1 into 100%. Is this part clear, everyone? So here you can straightway say that it is 3 by 2 minus 1, which is 1 by 2, which equals 50%. Guys, any doubt till now? Tell me. Okay, good. Let's move ahead. So, right. So, now let's say if a scenario is there wherein we are given that there is a value which is increased by 20%. Now, by what percent it should be reduced in order to get original value back? So tell me guys, what is the answer? I repeat my question. A value is increased by 20% and then decreased by some percentage so that we get original value back. So you have to tell me the percentage by which it is reduced. Right, good job. Right, good. Right, right. So in this case, we can assume a value, let it be 100. If it is increased by 20%, now the value becomes 120. So this 120 is to be reduced and it should be made 100 now. So required percentage changes difference of the two, which is minus 20, divided by initial value, which is 120, into 100, which comes out to be minus 1 by 6, where this negative sign shows that the value is to be decreased, right? So multiplied with 100 results in 16.67%. Neeraj, is it clear? So we can also generalize this part in many ways. So if I take this value in fraction, this 20% is 1 by 5. So if the increase given to me is of the form, let's say A upon B. So if a value increases by A upon B, wherein A upon B is a fraction, then the value should be decreased by A upon A plus B in order to get original value back. Vice versa, if a value is decreased by A upon B first, then subsequently it should be increased by A upon B minus A in order to get original value back. So we can also say the very same thing in percentages. If you increase a value by A%, it should be reduced by A upon 100 plus A into 100% in order to get original value back. Or if you decrease a value by A%, then it should be increased by A upon 100 minus A into 100% in order to get original value back. So if we are not interested, in these values 100, 120 and all, we can apply either of the concepts straightways to find our answer. So like increase of 20% gives me a decrease of 20 by 120, which is 1 by 6, 16.67%. If the question says that the value is decreased by 20%, right? So decrease of 20% gives me increase of 20 upon 80, which is 25% in the value. I hope this is clear to each and every student. Good evening, Saurabh. You are very late. Okay, now this relation is helpful when the values in the percentage. Okay, okay. So Neeraj, that's what I said. This is one example. I will give one more. Right? Just wait. So this relation is to be used when the values are quite comfortable in percentages to solve. Like if I say that you increase a value by 14.28%. Now by what percentage? Other should be reduced in order to get original value back. Now for 14.28, if we are going to use this relation, now you can clearly see that the values are not that handy anymore. It will be a difficult task to simplify this. Now it's better to convert the value to P by Q form. Right, so increase of 1 by 7 gives me a decrease of 1 by 8. Now it's easy to convert this value back to percentage, which is 12.5%. Is it clear, everyone? Is it done? Any doubt? Good, 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 good. So we basically have to take a call on what relation is to be used in the given scenario. Right, so both are equally helpful depending on the values given to you. So here, if the value is not comfortable, let's say if you come across a value like 23%, right? So now I know, like if I use either of the relation, my calculation is same, right? So just go with the flow. So it is 23 by 123 into 100. Now I have to solve it. So now you can see 10% of 123 is 12.3. So 20% is going to be 24.6. So if 20% is 24.6, so I have taken 1.6 extra, which is to be reduced, right? So I have to do extra calculation for this, depending on again the values which are there in the answer options. Now, like I can take 1% of the value is 1.23. So if I have to take it to 1.6, I have to add another 0.4, and you can clearly see that 1/3 of this value is 0.4. Right, so 1 by 3 of this will be 0.33%, which is 0.4. So on adding the two, this value will be another 1.33%. So subtract it out of 20, right? Or in worst case scenario, I will say divide 2300 by 123. Still, it's not a difficult task. So I can clearly see now. So 123 into 1 is 123, right? So 230 minus 123 we can do. It comes out to be 107. So the next value will be 1070. So it's now again I have to choose a multiple of this, which comes closer to around 8. Is that done, Tahir? Good. Welcome, welcome. So any other student having any other doubt or query related to this, do let me know. So calculation is always specific to the question only, right? So we just can't take a call on, what to do. So there are the three possibilities that we have to go for. So now, what else we could have done in the very same scenario is, like if there is some value x, let's say, which is increased by 20%, other solution for the same will be that if I increase the value by 20%, multiplying factor is going to be 1 plus 1 by 5, which is 6 by 5. So question says with which value it should be multiplied further such that it becomes x again. So can I say if I multiply this value by 5 by 6, so everything gets cancelled out, so result will be x only. So as we have discussed earlier, if we multiply a value by 5 by 6, I just have to study by what value it is, by what fraction it is reducing. So can I say we reduce the value by 1 by 6, which is equivalent to 16.67%. I hope this is clear to each and every student. If you have any doubt, do let me know. Ankita, which part you got confused with? Okay, so here I'm saying, so let's say if in the question it says, we are solving the very same question, Ankita, with a different method now. If the question says that you have decreased the value, let's say by 40%. Now by what percent you are going to increase it so as to get same value back? So I am assuming this value to be x. So if you reduce x by 40%, here I am saying that the multiplying factor will be 3 by 5. Is it clear, Ankita? Reducing a value. Good, good. So now with what value you will multiply this such that it becomes x again. So to make it x again, I have to multiply it with inverse of 3 by 5, which is 5 by 3. As we have just discussed, if there is a value x which becomes n times, so the percentage change is n minus 1 into 100. So in this case, if you are multiplying it with 5 by 3, so the increase will be 5 by 3 minus 1, which is 2 by 3 into 100, which is equivalent to 66.67%. So it can be done with this method or this method. So I am introducing one more so that whenever you come across such a question, so each and every solution you guys should be clear with. Good, good, good. Okay, now guys, this concept is basically of change of base. So only two values are involved in this case. Only two values. So one is this, other is this. Right? So we are studying the percentage change of one with respect to other. So in both the calculations, only base is getting changed. So here we can also focus on that in any case, if product of two quantities is constant, if any of the two increases by a%, I repeat, if any of the two increases by a%, other will reduce by a upon 100 plus a into 100% such that the product remains constant. Likewise, if any of the value reduces by a%, other value has to increase by this percent such that the product remains constant. Is this part clear? So this is a very important application of this concept. Please always keep this in mind. Good, 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 good. Okay, now next is successive percentage change. So in case of successive percentage change, as the name suggests, successive means one after the other. So let's say there is some value x which is increased by 10%, then by 20%, and then by 30%. So in another scenario, other person increased x by 30% first, then by 20%, and then by 10%. So let's say this is case 1, this is case 2. Tell me guys, in which case the resulting value would be bigger? Out of the two, in which case the resulting value will be bigger? Okay, so what else? Come on guys, be quick. Right, right. Okay, 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 okay. Come on guys, rest of the students, be quick. Right, so I got three answers. One is first, other answer is two, third is same. So out of the three, same is correct. Please always keep in mind when you are increasing a value by some percentages successively, so your order does not matter. Whether you do it by 10, 20, 30 or 30, 20, 30, 30, 21, or you go with 20, 30, 10, you go with any order. Your resulting value is always the same. The reason behind the same is that if you increase x by 10%, multiplying factor is 1.1. If you increase by 20%, multiplying factor is 1.2. With 30%, it is 1.3. So whatever order you are going to choose, can I say that multiplying factors are always going to be the same? So in whatever order you multiply them, the result is always going to be the same. I hope this part is clear, everyone. So those who said 1, 2, yes, Neeraj, it does not make any difference. Whether you increase or you decrease, the result is the same. Okay, now. So in case of successive percentage change, the other type of questions we are going to face are that if there is a value x which is increased by 10% and then by 20% successively. So what will be the overall percentage change in the value? So guys, please bear in mind that in this case overall change is not going to be 10 plus 20 which is 30. Right, right, good. So this is not the overall change. In order to study overall change, I have to multiply x with the multiplying factors, which results in 1.32 times x. So initial value is x, now it is 1.32 times of x. So the percentage changes n minus 1 into 100. So 0.32 into 100 results in overall percentage change of 32%. Positive sign indicates that the value has increased. Good job everyone, good job, good job. So likewise, in order to do it another way, so if we generalize this part as well, if x is increased by a% and then by b%, so the overall percentage change is going to be a plus b plus ab upon 100. So please always bear this relation in your mind. So it will ease your calculations in many cases, specifically in DI. So in this case, increase of 10 and 20 gives me overall change of 10 plus 20 plus 10 into 20 by 100, which results in 30 plus 2, 32%. Right, so can be done like this, can be done like this also. So on the other side, we also need to focus on now that this relation can be used for exactly 2 percentage changes only. If there are more than 2 percentage changes, then I have to use the very same relation multiple times. Like if I say, yes, Neeraj, it always works. It's a generic case. So if I say that a value is increased by 10%, 20%, and 30%, then what is the overall percentage change? You choose any two values out of the three. Let's say if I choose these two. So 10 and 20 gives me an overall increase of 32%. We have already calculated. Now use the very same formula on 32 and 30. So the answer comes out to be out of 32 plus 30 plus 32 into 30 divided by 100, which is equivalent to 71.6%. Rishabh, it's 71.6. Is that clear, everyone? So again, please keep in mind, you can combine any two out of the three, whatever you feel comfortable with. Order does not matter. I am repeating it again and again. Order does not matter. Is it clear? Any doubt in this? Okay, good. So, in any case, if given to me is that product of A and B equals C. So, if A increases by A%, B increases by B%, then the percentage change in C is going to be A plus B plus AB upon 100. So this tool is again very helpful in solving many questions with ease, and is again very helpful in case of wherever you come across numbers are getting multiplied. So I will give you a few examples on the same. So please bear this relation in your mind. So let's say if it is given to me that length of a rectangle is increased by 10%, breadth is increased by 20%. So what will be the change in area of the rectangle? So we all know that area is length into breadth. If length increases by 10, breadth increases by 20. So area is going to change by 10 plus 20 plus 10 into 20 upon 100. Right? So you can always go with A plus B plus AB upon 100 in all such cases. Like in case of, let's say, equilateral triangle, if we need to study change in area. So area is root 3 by 4 into A square. I am writing this thing as A into A. If you are given some percentage increase in the side, let's say of 10%, so I know now 10 and 10 will give me a successive increase of 10 plus 10 plus 10 into 10 upon 100, which comes out to be 21%. Now, in some case, if it is given to you, now let's consider a case of price, consumption, and expenditure. So the mathematical relation between the three is price into consumption equal expenditure. If question says that price increases by 10% and consumption increases by 20%, so by what percentage expenditure will change? Guys, again same formula, so gives us the answer as 32%. Now, this relation is again very helpful had it been given to you that price increases by 20%, what will be the percentage change in consumption if expenditure increases by 40%? So you can assume this value to be, let's say, A. So apply the formula on 20 and A, which is 20 plus A plus 20 into A upon 100 equals 40. So we'll give you the value of A squared. I hope these examples are clear to each and every student. Good, good. If you have any doubt, do let me know. Okay, okay, wait. So here I'm saying, uh, if you come across a question where a price of an article, consumption of an article, and expenditure of an article is mentioned, right? Let's say the question says that 20% increase in price of an article, not that way, I'm changing the language, that if the price of an article increases by 20%, expenses of a person increases by 40%, then what will be the percentage change in consumption of the person, right? It can be, let's say, sugar, it can be, let's say, petrol, it can be diesel, it can be any such commodity in general. So in order to find the percentage change in consumption, what I did, I took this value as A and I applied the formula A plus B plus AB upon 100 again. So 20 plus A plus 20 into 100 A upon 100 gives me the change in expenditure, which given to me is 14. That's it. Solve it for it. So this got cancelled out. 6A by 5 equals 20. So A comes out to be 100 by 6, which is 16.67%. So it gives me with positive sign that consumption will increase by 16.67%. Is it done, everyone, now? Good, good. Yes, Akriti, I am coming to the same. So now, yes, Neeraj, I am coming to the same. Just give me a moment now. I am done with these examples. So, whenever you come across increase, the values are all positive. So, had there been a question that A% increase and B% decrease, so please keep in mind increase is always followed by positive sign, wherein decrease always means negative sign. So just use negative B in place of B. So the percentage change will be A minus B minus AB upon 100. The question can also be that decrease of A% as well as decrease of B%, which gives us an overall decrease of minus A minus B plus AB upon 100. I hope this part is clear now to each and every student. So increase means positive sign, decrease means negative sign. Good, 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 good. Okay, now let's move on to few examples. So let's solve them. Okay, guys, give it a try. I'm just not speaking. I'm looking for all answers. Okay, guys, let's do it. I hope you guys are done. Okay, let's do it. So here it says a report consists of 20 sheets, each of 55 lines, such that each line consists of 65 characters. Now this report is reduced onto sheets, each of 65 lines, such that each line consists of 70 characters. The percentage reduction in number of sheets is closest to. So basically I am required the number of sheets in this case. So can I say that the number of characters in either of the cases are same? So to calculate the number of characters, I just need to multiply the three values and I have to solve it for the value of x. So this 65 got cancelled out, this 0 got cancelled out. So x comes out to be 2 into 55, which is 110 divided by 7. Is it clear, everyone? Guys, is this part clear? Aman, I equated total number of characters. Yes, Neeraj, I equated total number of characters. 20 sheets, 55 lines, 65 characters. So total characters are going to be, in all the sheets taken together, 20 into 55 into 65. So the report is reduced onto sheets, each of 65 lines consisting of 70 characters. So total number of characters are x into 65 into 70. So we just need to equate the two because number of characters are same, material is same. Is it done now, Aman? Aman, is it done? Good. So x comes out to be 110 by 7. Earlier I had 20 pages, 20 sheets. Now the number of sheets are 110 by 7. So the percentage reduction is final upon initial minus 1 into 100. So the 0 got cancelled out. 11 by 14 minus 1 is minus 3 by 14 into 100. So guys, what is the answer? Shubhadeep, the percentage reduction is required. So my question is only, so 3 by 14 is what percent now? So if we come across with exact value, job would be 0. Right, so like it's 10% is 1.4, 20% is 2.8, so the value is very close to 20. Shivani, I'm not able to understand your query. Yes, Shubhadeep, it is the same. Shivani, I'm not able to understand your query, but it is. So it is x into 65 into 70. Yes, 65, 65 got cancelled out. So I'm solving it for x. 0 and 0 got cancelled out. 2 into 55 is 110 divided by 7. Yes, Shubhadeep, that is the same. That is the same. It's just multiply factor. The representation is only different. It is the same. So Shivani, once you got the value of x are the number of sheets, right? But 65, Shivani, x are the new number of sheets. Earlier the number of sheets were 20. Now they are 110 by 7. So percentage change is final upon initial minus 1 into 100. So this is my final value. That is my initial value. Good, good, good. Just wait, Neeraj, give me a sec. Let me read your statement. Uh, Definitely, Neeraj, definitely. So it is the same concept because if I go with successive percentage change here, that will even take more time. So we basically also have to focus on what method to be used in order to save on time. Had the values been quite comfortable, I would have gone through the same. Is it done? Okay, guys, let's move on to next one. Good. Avinash, if we are supposed to calculate the difference in number of sheets, so in that case, we just need to simplify 110 by 7 because now the new number of sheets are 110 by 7. So on simplifying this, you can easily see that the closest multiple here when we talk about it is 7 1 the 7. So leftover is 40, right? So 16 sheets are being used. So please do not take the smaller value because it is 15 point something. So 16 sheets are being used. Difference in the sheets is of 4. You are right. Okay guys, let's move ahead. Okay, now give it a try. Take your time, come up with correct answer. Avinash, calculation is the same. You are not doing anything different. Please keep in mind. So whatever way you do, it is the same. Good, good, good. Good, good. Good job, good job. Good. Okay, guys, let's do it. So here it says the rate of increase of the price of sugar is observed to be 2% more than the inflation rate expressed in percentage. So, as on 1st January 1994, price is 20, and the inflation rates for the years are expected to be 8% each. So we can straightway say that my value is 2% more, so it is going to be 10% in both the years. So multiplying factor is 1.1 two times, which is 1.21 into 20 comes out to be 24.2. So the right answer option is 3. Is it clear, everyone? If anyone has any doubt, do let me know. Good. So, but the question says a rate of increase of the price of sugar is observed to be 2% more than the inflation rate expressed in percentage. And this is the inflation rate. So that's why we are taking 2% more. Instead of it is 10 and 10 in both the years. Is it done, Shubhadeep? Shubhadeep, is it done? So do not think of that along with 10%, you also have to apply 8%, because it is given to you the direct percentage increase in sugar, which is 10%. No, that's what I'm saying. So 8 plus 2 will be 10, right? So it's not like for sugar, 10% price will increase. Along with it, there will be effect of inflation also. That 10% price hike is because of this 8% only. That's why it became 8 plus 2, 10%. Is that done? Inflation is taken into account. Okay, guys. Right. So I got three options as an answer right now. Come on, guys, come up with correct answer. Be quick. Okay, now Ankita, check your answer. Saurabh and Madhu are correct. No, Tahir. Right, Shubhadi. Okay, guys, let's do it. Right, some. No, Ankita, let's do it. Okay, now here it says the number of votes. No, no, guys, wait, Vishal now. The number of votes not cast for the Praja Party increased by 25% in the national general election over those not cast for it in the previous assembly polls. So when we talk about votes not cast, it means they are the votes which are against my party, and party lost by a majority twice as large as that by which it had won the previous assembly polls. Now let's say there is a Prajapati party, not Prajapati, it's Praja party only. So there are going to be few votes in the favor, there are going to be few votes which are against. So one is previous year and one is this current year. So we just need to frame the equation. So question says the number of votes increased by 25% which were against me. If there were X votes against me previous year, now there are 1.25 X votes against me. Let's say if the number of votes in my favor were Y, so I won previous election by Y minus X votes. And now I lost by twice of that value. Tell me guys, this much of part is clear to each and every student. Any doubt till now? Tell me. Right, Neeraj, right. So, guys, please keep in mind when we are observing that by how many votes a person has won, the calculation is the number of votes in the favor minus number of votes which are against. And when we talk about the number of votes by which a person has lost, it equals number of votes which are against minus number of votes in favor. So, in order to calculate the number of votes in favor this year, it will be against minus lost. So, it is the difference of these two, which is going to be 1.25x minus twice of y minus x. Then question says if a total of 2,60,000 people voted each time. So first equation is x plus y equal 2,60,000. Second equation is sum of these two. So 1.25 is 2.5 plus another 2x which is 4.5x minus 2y equal 2,60,000. And it says how many voted for the Praja Party in the previous assembly polls. So we are required the value of y, which means I need to eliminate x. So multiply equation 1 with 4.5 and subtract the 2. X got cancelled out. 4.5 plus 2 is 6.5y, which equals 4.5 into this value minus 1 into this value, which is 3.5, into 2,60,000. So just simplify this. So 5 into 7 is 35. 5 into 13 is 65. 13 into 2 is 26. So y comes out to be 1,40,000. Is it clear, everyone? Ankita, is it done? Those who gave 1,10,000 as an answer, they should have proper clarity about the calculation part. Okay, then it's good. Okay, so that's why I mentioned everything. Yes, Shubhati, can be worked out that ways also. Yes. Okay, guys, now solve it. I am required correct answer from each and every student, so solve it carefully. Right, Shubhati. Good. Right, Madhu, right. Right, Parvesh. Good. Okay, guys, let's do it. So let's assume in this case, because we are required total number of bottles, let's assume total bottles to be 100x. So whenever the total value is not given to you, you can take that value to be x, 10x, 100x, 1000x, depending on that which value will simplify your fractions. So in this case, 100x will simplify your fractions with ease, right? On the other side, please also focus on one part, that whenever you are required a number to be calculated, the total number of voters, like in this case, are required, only then introduce a variable. If the question talks about that a value is what percent more than other, or what is the ratio between two values, then you can take 100 only and start solving, right? So like in this case, this 100x, breaks down into two-fifths of the voters promised to vote for P. So 40x voters were there for P and remaining 60x were there for Q. Of these, on the last day, 15% of the voters went back of their promise to vote for P. So 15% of 40x, guys, is 6x. They went back and now they are going to vote for Q. And 25% of the voters went back of their promise to vote for Q. Its 25% is 15x, so they went back of their promise and they now are going to vote P. And given to me is P lost by 2 votes. Guys, we just need to add these values. So it is 40, 50, 55 minus x is 49x. So this adds up to 51x. So 51x minus 49x given to you is 2. X comes out to be 1. So the total number of voters are 100. Is it clear, everyone? So while solving these kind of questions which are no, so when someone went back from their promise, it means now they are going to vote other party. So in these kind of questions, please focus on that. Try to form a tree, something like this. So this tree formation helps a lot. So do not write statements the way we used to write in class 9, 10. Right? That if you start writing, let's assume total number of voters are 100x. Right? Please don't do that. So straightway focus on the set of values which are required and answer it. Is that clear, everyone? Good, good, Aman, good. Now be quick again. Right, Shivaji. Good. Right, right, right. Good, good, good. All are correct. All are correct, Krishan. All are correct. Okay, guys, let's do it. Here it says a person who has certain amount of money with him can buy either 50 oranges or 40 mangoes. He retains 10% of the amount for taxi fares and buys 20 mangoes. And of the balance, he purchases oranges, and we are required how many oranges he can purchase. Right, Aman, right. So we just need to assume a value such that my calculation is easier. So take LCM of 50 and 40, which is 200. So let's assume a person started with rupee 200. So he saved 10%, which is rupee 20 for taxi fares. So now he's having rupee 180 with him. So rupee 200, in rupee 200 he can purchase 50 oranges, which means price of each orange is 4. Likewise, price of each mango is 5. If he has purchased 20 mangoes, it means he has already spent rupee 100 on mangoes, leftover is rupee 80. So in rupee 80, at the rate of 4 oranges, he will be able to purchase 20 oranges. Is it clear, everyone? It's a very, uh, daily based activity. When you go to market, these kind of calculations are there. Any doubt in this? Tell me. Okay, good, good, good. So let's keep it this much only. So we'll be continuing in next class from the very same point. So I think you guys are having one more class. So let's take a break. Okay, guys. Good night. Let's see, Shivani, next week which what all days we are going to fix. Good night, guys. Good night. Keep practicing. Keep practicing. Good night. Good night. Yes, Shivani. I think there is another class lined up of verbal ability.